and RV show. What's up? It's Chris Young. So many people are discovering the RV lifestyle. They're wanting to know, how do I do it properly? It became so popular. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna bring my friends up here with me who not only live the full-time RV lifestyle, but have gone through the bumps, they've gone through the victories, and they have gone through pretty much everything you're gonna experience, and they're gonna bring that knowledge to us today. Everybody, welcome to what we're calling RVing for Newbies Expert Panel. How do you feel about that so far?
All right, good.
Okay for that? So as you're paying attention to us and you're watching on social media, first off, thank you for joining us at the Ultimate Land, Water, and RV Show. We are so honored to have you here with our family of brands, just bringing you everything from the outdoors. And while you're scrolling through social media, maybe you're watching on Facebook, whatever, if you have any questions, please put them in the feed. We will try to get to them as best as possible. But I do have some here, which have been sent to us from some of our folks. And what do you say we get rocking and rolling?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
The first question, which I think is a great one. What is something you wish you knew before you started RVing? And I'm going to start with Follow Your Detour, since you guys are right here to my left. Dan and Lindsay, how would you answer that?
How long do we got again, right? Yeah, so
Yeah, about 53 minutes and 34 seconds.
yeah, you learn so much, and there's just so many things that you just gain with experience. But
Right.
I'd say probably the one thing I wish that I knew, or maybe that we knew, I'll let her answer, before we bought our original RV, was just really more understanding of what we wanted to do with the RV and what was important to us from our lifestyle perspective. So we ended up with a fifth wheel. It was a good RV, but it wasn't the right RV for us. We found out that a drivable much more suits our life. It's easier with our dogs and now with our son. So that's probably the biggest thing I wish I knew, just getting the right RV.
Right on. Nate and Rachel, two traveling dogs. Same
Yes.
question.
I think reservaciones is what I would like to say, because I didn't realize how far in advance we really needed to book some of these places to get to the places we wanted to go, I mean, you can go to some places and still get some reservations here and there, but you really need to plan. You really need to be going, you know what? I'm going to be going there in a year. And this is my route. This is what I want to do. And that's part of the fun, Yeah. It's like we didn't realize how much fun it could be to plan a trip. But especially, you got to make those reservaciones. I don't think that's a real word, by the way. But,
I would say so.
I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Creating words, Dave.
Yeah, I'm creating words. But, I mean, you have to really make that dedication to say, hey, I'm going there, and I am going to dedicate myself to making this reservations. I will be there next year.
I love it. Now, Keith and Tia, Soulful RV Family, same thing. You guys have been doing it for 7 years. What would you like to have known before you started?
I think, Chris, that things are going to break. And don't stress about it.
Correct.
It's going to happen. It's RV life. Things are going to break, and you have the ability to fix probably 80% of what goes wrong in your RV.
Okay.
By yourself with a little bit of knowledge. Roll up those sleeves and
Right.
don't be fearful of it. In the beginning, we have a big diesel pusher, Class A motorhome, and I was afraid to do anything. But now when something goes wrong, I click into troubleshooting mode and just try to figure out what's happening. And probably 9 times out of 10, I've been able to figure out and fix what's going on.
Well, and the camping community has probably pitched in as well, because it's one of the most amazing communities out there. So, did they help you while you were trying to fix some of those things?
When you talk about the camping community, that is probably the most amazing thing that we've experienced.
Right.
The welcomeness, the openness, and wherever campground you go to, people are willing to help you. We had an issue with our transfer switch, which transfers power from the coach, from battery to shore power. It was popping. I had 4 guys come out with their tool chest. I didn't even have to climb under the RV. They were like, get out of the way, we'll take care of it.
Oh, wow.
They spent 3 hours replacing my transfer switch.
Wow.
That's the friendliness that you get at the campground. That's part of that RV community. That's what we love.
You owe me for that time I spent over there, Keith. You owe me.
Now, Bryce and Nelly, the Jergies, same thing. What would you like to know before you started RVing?
Yeah, similar to what Keith was saying, I was just thinking in a similar vein, you don't need to know everything before you start. Before we took off on our trip, actually the first time we flushed the toilet in our RV was on our trip. We're like, oh, does this work? And we had a lot of moments that there was things that we didn't even think about until we went. And so I would encourage learning all you can before.
Right.
But also don't let that limit you just by going and experiencing, because things will break. You'll learn how to fix it. And we kind of kept to ourselves at first, but then we started talking to other people. And I remember one time in Arizona, this guy walked around our rig once and told me 6 things to change. that would make it better.
Right.
That was awesome. And so we would look for conversations, be like, hey, I like your rig. We're still learning. Is there anything we should change? And they would just give advice, and that was really helpful. But one last thing, know the height of your rig.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling somebody either took off an air conditioner or a vent, which.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Last week even. That's another story. But
That's another story for another time.
when we first got the rig, we drove it. We were still in our house. We were moving everything out, and we thought it'd be this magical moment. You turn down the road. We just had a new baby. Nellie would walk out with her, and I'd be there, and they would come out. I turned the corner and heard a branch break, and then saw it fall in my rearview mirror and other things, and then I was blocking the whole road. I called her, I was like, just run outside, just get in here now, please. And we went into a parking lot, and then we learned about these other apps that you put in the length and height of your rig, and it tells you which roads are safe. And
That's awesome. All right, all good advice. Yeah, you know, with the Ultimate Outdoor Olympics, I wish I could be giving points right now for some of these responses. Now, here's a good one, because a lot of folks, some of the most important family members are the four-legged ones, and they're trying to experience the RV lifestyle with those four-legged friends. I'm worried to get an RV because I have 3 dogs, and I'm worried they're not going to be comfortable in the RV. Is it easy to travel with them? Well, 2 traveling dogs, Nate and Rachel, I'm going to start with you guys on that one.
It's not always easy. And in fact, when we first started, I had a lot of doubts about it. I thought they're not going to like this, they're going to be scared. And yes, there were things that we did have to change to their own individual personalities. But honestly, you're not going to know until you start. You know, with 3 dogs, it's probably a little bit harder than 2, depending on the size. But we have 2 big dogs, and we've had to make adjustments, but it is definitely doable if you have patience and you have just a willingness to adapt for your dogs.
Right. Now, Dan and Lindsay, you guys have traveled with your dogs too. Lindsay, tell me, how is it?
Yeah, we have 2 medium to bigger sized dogs as well, and we love it. They add to the adventure. They're part of our family, and it sounds like whoever asked this question is concerned for that reason because they love their dogs so much. And I just think try it out. There's so much gear that you can get to help with your dog, like just make it more comfortable for your dogs. We have 2 older dogs. We just got a ramp for one of them.
Okay.
There's temperature monitors. So many things that if something doesn't go right, there's typically something that you can do to help your dog. So do it.
Is there anything that can make it more comfortable for the pets while you're out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like she just mentioned, we use a ramp because our steps are a little bit steep for them. We have, I think, 3 dog beds in the RV, so we kind of put them in.
Which one do you sleep in?
Yeah, right, exactly. So no, those definitely help out. And then we actually have different padding and different thickness. There's a thin one that goes under the dinette because that's kind of where they lounge, but that's not really where they sleep. So
I'm gonna add one thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
We actually, shopping at Camping World, took our dogs with us into the units and sat down and just saw how they explored it and where they kind of naturally went. And that was huge for us to just kind of see how it felt with all 4 of us in there. So.
Yeah. And that's what's great about Camping World, Gander, our locations. You can bring your pets in as long as they're on a leash. And I let them walk the aisles so they can pick out the toys. That's what I always say. It's like the kids. You got to let the kids pick out the toys. Yeah. Nate, you wanted to add something.
No, I was just saying, for us, with the 2, they all have their spaces. And if you've got 3, like the question was, they're all going to need their own space. And you let them, just like you said, explore the units. You let them find that space. And then you make that space comfortable for them. Our dogs, the one, he likes to be on the couch. We cover the couch. I would suggest with all the hair that you cover the couches, especially with 3. But it's like he likes the couch. The other one likes under the table. When we had a diesel pusher, I never saw the dinette. It was always laid down into a dog bed. That was the dog bed, and that's where they stayed. Let them find their space. Let them tell you what they're enjoying. And along with that ramp, I'll say one thing that we have the ramp. We also have steps. And our dogs actually do better with those foldable steps than they do the ramp. So again, let your dog tell you what he's more comfortable with. Don't just try to force something on them. They'll enjoy travel more. You'll enjoy it more with them.
Right. Dan, did you have anything else you want to add to that? No, you're good. Now, what about traveling with a capuchin monkey? Does anybody? Am I the only one?
I took you one time.
Yeah,
so I
this
guess
is true.
that's
Yeah,
similar.
so that's similar.
That's similar.
That's the same thing. Well, yeah, similar. Fantastic. So, Bryce and Nellie, you guys have mentioned this before, but here's a great question. Do you have a checklist before you go on each trip, and do you bring different things depending on where you're going? So let's start with you guys on that one.
We're laughing at you guys over here with your like reservations and your plans, and we're like, we don't.
That's what we want to be.
I didn't say we actually, it doesn't actually work.
We don't do that as much as we should, although we are getting better at it. But we just kind of do it, like the day or two before. We're like, hey, we should do this, and then we plan it. But bringing things before going to places.
And a checklist. Do you do a checklist before a trip?
Okay. Now, when it comes to kids, that's a whole new thing because it's cool because we got no kids, we got one baby, we got 2 little kids, and then we got 3 older boys. I mean, if anybody has questions, they're hitting all of us right now.
Yeah, we covered it.
This is perfect. But I think just kind of like what you said, like let them pick out the things that they love, help them to like love their experience camping.
Right.
Don't just choose everything for them. Like get things that obviously help, but there's things that Evelyn and Indy love that we let them choose, and then we let them bring it along. Now we don't bring their whole get up, set up, but let them bring their toy or let them bring whatever makes the experience more fun.
Help them keep a little entertained.
Yeah, as far as like packing lists and stuff like that. And then for when we take off, we each have our own checklists of responsibilities. Right. So like I do just how it is recently, like I'll do all the exterior, all the black gray tank stuff, the electrical hookups, the lights, all that stuff. Because Nellie drives our rig, she tows it. So we have a 5th wheel now, and so as far as checklist, she does everything that involves the truck. I do everything that involves the outside of the RV, and together we do the inside, the slide outs and everything. I don't know
the dividing
as far as checklist what you're meaning, but yeah, every time we pack up and take off, we do have a list that we go through. Because you'll forget something, and you remember right away after something goes bad.
Yeah, the dry erase board I think is my best friend. Now, Keith and Tia, what about you guys? Do you have a list and specific things that you take with you? Obviously with the 3 boys, that's because they're awesome. They're active and they're awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we do pretty much the same as you. We divide all of our things that we need to do up. Keith is typically on the outside of the RV, black tank and all of that.
Right.
I stay on the inside. I get everything put away because, as you know, when you're traveling, items shift in flight. So
yes.
I make sure that everything is secure inside. And basically the kids, Keith is doing a great job of teaching our boys how to do everything outside. I think he's getting ready to transition them over to doing all of it.
Oh, I love it.
What he's going to be doing at that point.
Right. Well, they're almost at that age. They're getting there. Yeah, they're getting there.
They are.
I'm trying to get my 12-year-old now just to look at the lawnmower. Not even worry about pushing the grass, just look at it. Yeah. Okay. Dan and Lindsay, what about you guys?
Yeah, very similar. In truthfulness, we don't actually have a checklist anymore. We did when we first started, and I highly recommend it. And I can also speak from experience that you will notice immediately when you forget something. I forgot to unhook the brake cord once when I pulled my truck away and ripped that thing right off. So I've definitely done that. Also, one time I forgot to put the tailgate down when I backed into the 5th wheel, so that was fun. So it is really, I think it's a really good idea to have a checklist. And then I think the packing question, I think we can speak to that now more as part-timers. I'll let you grab that, but as part-timers, we certainly do have variation now. So,
especially with the baby, yeah.
And to add to the checklist, just don't do anything in a rush. That's where we learned. You're panicked, you're trying to check out, you're waiting till the last minute. Just checklist or not, don't do that. But packing, we keep the RV stocked because our goal is to have our home base and then jump in and go in the spur of a moment and have everything in there ready to go as much as you can. But so you're going to need all the essentials in terms of using the kitchen and bedding and towels and all of that general stuff. And then obviously it's going to depend on where you're going and bring the things that you can use to enjoy the area that you're in. So that might be like a stand-up paddleboard for us, e-bikes, it always depends. Be think about weather and how weather changes. And then, of course, you want your safety items. We have a long list of just like a tire pressure monitor, surge protector, things, for the RV. Am I missing anything?
Oh, there's so much on the list that you can put together. And Nate, I saw you smiling like the Cheshire Cat over there just a minute ago. What?
No, she was just saying, don't get in a rush. Our checklist, it depends on how big of a rush. When is checkout time? Is it 10 a.m.? Is it 11 a.m.? Or is it noon? I mean, at noon. It's
slow.
like, darling, can I help you with the inside? We're going to be polishing this chrome until I can see my reflection. And then if it's 10 a.m., let's go! It's like everything gets thrown in and, the foot to the floor and we're out. But, more than anything else, she takes care of the dogs.
Right.
We get the dogs ready. That's the most important thing. And if she's able to do that, then I'm able to do most of the other things halfway good, you know.
Rachel, I was going to say, I know you got something to add to that.
I think food is the top of my checklist. Make sure everybody has enough snacks. That includes the dogs. Make sure everybody has enough water. And because we're towing the fifth wheel now, we're driving in the truck. So we can't just go to the refrigerator whenever we want to, like we did in the Class A, which was nice. But we pack a cooler now in the front seats so that we have, our water and our snacks and everything ready. I pack the dogs dinner ahead of time so that when we get to camp, we can get their dinner, they can get settled.
Right.
We get all their stuff ready first at camp and get them settled and get them secure, and then we set up.
Right on.
Because if they're not happy, then we can't get anything done anyway.
Right on. That was going to be my follow-up question. One thing that has to be on the list. You mentioned food and snacks. Dan and Lindsay, give me one thing that absolutely has to be on that list.
We could probably say this at the same time.
You go for it.
Candy. We are like kids with candy. We always have to have candy.
Candy. All right. Come on, Soulful.
You really have to ask me that question?
Yes.
I do not leave home without my grill. Wherever we go, at least one grill is in that basement storage.
Yes. I knew that was coming. All right. Bryce and Nellie. Oh, yeah. Tia?
Oreo cookies.
Okay. All right.
I don't grill those, so you can have them.
You can, though. They're actually really good. Bryce and Nellie, one thing that has to be on that list.
I like you said, at least one grill.
Yeah.
It revolves around food. So just, there's a lot there.
We have some hungry people on this panel.
Yeah, Nellie, we usually, our exterior fridge is usually just stocked with coconut waters. So.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You
Gotta stay hydrated,
Yes. I make jokes about coconut water all the time, too.
It really made me feel bad about my Oreo cookies.
I have those too. Don't worry.
Now, here's one for the parents that I think is really good because my wife and I went through this not that long ago. I really want to get an RV so bad, but I think my kids are going to hate it. What advice do you have to keep them happy when you're driving or when you get to the campground? Soulful RV, I'm going to start with you guys on this one. How did you get the boys into it? How did you get them to like it?
My goodness. At the point when we got into it, all three of them were in car seats. So
no option.
No options at all. But they took to it. I mean, there was not one complaint. They love being outside. Keith loves taking them out on excursions. I love the peace and quiet. It works for everybody. The dog and I sit outside. It's wonderful. But no, the kids really enjoy going out. They really love exploring. At their age now, we've got preteens.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. Sad. But no, but they really love going out. They love exploring the museums when we go into a more of a, an atmosphere where we've got those type of options. Keith can't wait to get them to Alaska now.
Oh,
so they're looking forward to that and talk about trip planning. He is like the guru. But yeah, they've really taken to it. We haven't had one issue at all.
What is, like, how do you overcome some of the travel challenges with the kids?
Well, we haven't had that many travel challenges. We've incorporated them in our trip planning. So I'll say, hey guys, what do you want to do? Like with COVID the past year, we didn't do a lot of extended travel, so we stayed local. So I said, we had a birthday. What do you want to do? I said, how about we go tubing in the Georgia mountains?
Okay.
So that's what we did. We went up to the Georgia mountains. We went tubing. We went camping. They have a ball. They love being outside. The crazy thing about that is our last house we had 3 acres. We had a creek in the backyard. You couldn't pay them to go outside. But when we go in the campground, it is, as soon as the sun comes up, they are out the door. door. They
Boom.
want to go to the pool. They want to go swimming. They want to go wakeboarding. They want to do everything outdoors. It just like unlocks.
The RV changes things.
It really does. So I think
Oh,
if
that's
you're
great,
worried
yeah.
about it, you're going to be shocked at how much they put those tablets and those electronics aside.
Yeah.
There's time and place for that. But the other stuff will just, I'm a lost word.
It'll just fall in place.
Absolutely.
I love what Tia said. I don't know if it got picked up, but she said the RV changes things.
It does.
I love that. Now, Bryce and Nellie, having 2 little girls, I know one of them has seen all 50 states. So, same question. How is it traveling with them? Obviously, it's got to be kosher.
Yeah, it's awesome, and really the outdoors teaches them a lot too, and entertains them forever. Like you said, the RV changes things. We're full-time in ours now, and there's been times where we've stayed with Nana and Papa, or my parents, Grandma and Grandpa, and even though like while we're there, we notice that they end up. It's great and it's awesome in the family. But they do watch more movies. They get into this kind of routine, and then they like routine. And as soon as which is great, as soon as we get in the RV. So like we have parents ask us like, well, my kid's like dialed in on routine. Gotta have, like Nellie has a friend, she sprays a certain mist in the air of an essential oils, puts on the sound machine, holds the teddy bear, then the baby's out. But if they don't have that, baby doesn't nap as well.
Right.
As soon as we get in the RV, it's like, I don't know, just subconsciously, it doesn't matter anymore. The movies don't matter, outdoors. It's all about the adventure. You might have heard Avi. She'll be like, let's go on an adventure.
Yeah.
And she just loves doing that every day, so.
Yeah, I do want to say something. I think a lot of, change is hard. I mean,
Yeah.
for everybody, right?
It is.
It's hard to get out of our comfort zone. So I think, if you have kids and you've never had this adventure, if you're new to this and you just want to try it, just go for it, because it might be hard at first. But when you're taking them outside and, they're going tubing or they're eating those s'mores, like, they're gonna adapt. Kids adapt so well
Yes.
when you introduce things, and it might be scary at first, and they might yell at you. They don't want to do it. But what happens when you take them to do it? They want
They
to
love
do
it.
it again.
Yes,
so don't
absolutely.
be scared. It might be hard for a quick minute. Stick through it, and they're gonna love it.
Right.
One of the greatest moments is when my boys, when I take them somewhere or we go somewhere and they say, man, Dad, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was incredible. We went hiking in Providence Canyon here in Georgia, and we had studied it at homeschool. And to be down in that canyon and see the 100 different layers, all I heard was, oh my goodness, look at that. It was amazing. And as a parent, I was just beaming from ear to ear.
That's beautiful.
And I was enjoying it too.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about it, is we get to experience a lot of this stuff for the first time. We get to experience it with them, make these memories together as a
Yes.
family.
Yeah, that was the best thing. We took our kids on a summer trip to Dallas, or actually spring break trip to Dallas, and I wanted them to see some of the things they were learning about. So we did the Dallas to San Antonio, the Houston. They got to see the Alamo, the whole nine. And it's interesting to see when they first experience it. Sure, you got to dangle the carrot a little bit. You got to maybe coerce them a little bit, but once they get there, they really do enjoy it.
Chris,
Now, traveling with
I gotta ask you. I gotta add to it. I know you were not going to ask me that question for obvious reasons, but I'm going to tell you, we RV'd when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was the best times we had.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When my dad passed away, it was like I remembered camping.
Yeah. It brings back some of the best memories.
No, I'm sorry.
Got those tears right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I started
see-
this story. But no, it was like, we camped on the beach, and it was like, so you know what? It can be very, very special
Yeah.
for your kids. And I was a complainer. Find that hard to believe, I know. But it's like, I was a complainer, but I complained the whole time of that trip. But that was the memory I had
Yeah.
and that I shared with my dad, because that meant something. It'll mean something
Yeah.
to your kids.
And you see, that's the emotion you get when you get to bring your family out and you get to have those memories. That's beautiful, Nate. Absolutely. Thank you. Traveling with the baby, how is that? Has that been different? Is there any changes? Because there might be some folks out there who want to go and they want to start early. Bryce and Nellie,
It was important to us to get him used to it as soon as possible. And
Right.
we had our doubts, we had our fears. And one thing I was going to add with just hearing these fears of, can I bring my dogs? Can I bring the kids? Is rent one? Like, there's opportunities to go give it a shot. I know it can be, a big investment. So rent one and go see, just feel it out. But yeah, we wanted to get Miles out there as soon as possible and just hope that he could be adaptable very early on and so that we could continue to do it. And like what you just said, it speaks volume. I mean, that's it. That's what we want for him. We want him to have memories and for us to bond as a new family. And it's important to us, you know, I think we're better people and parents when we're happy and on the road. So.
Yes. Okay. It's very fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just say, like, logistically, you know, taking it, you know, he was 5 weeks old when we took him on our first trip. So logistically, yes, things are a little different, you know, than it was before, accounting for the car seat and where is he going to sleep and where do we change diapers and all of that stuff. But all of that worked out really well. And I mean, maybe it's not true. I don't know. He's only 4 months old. He can't really tell me, but I'm telling you, it seems like he enjoys it more. Like, when we had him in the RV for a month and then we came back home, it just felt like he was he wasn't engaging as much in his environment. I mean, he just loves looking at the trees. He loves being outside. The wind blows in his hair. We took him to Bryce Canyon at 5 a.m. for a sunrise. It was freezing. It was 18 degrees outside. We bundled him up and he was bright-eyed and bushy and just loved the whole experience. So I don't know. He might not like it, but he seems like he likes it.
That's beautiful. Hey, Dad always says fresh air is better than home air.
Here's what I loved that changed about our style is Miles made us slow down a lot. And we were worried about that because we're goers and doers and seers. But then we had more moments of just sitting at the campfire and just enjoying it, relaxing a little bit more. And so he's brought that into our camping style, and we love that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and just to like finalize on this point, I mean, we've been RVing since 2016. We've been everywhere, so many national parks, all these different things. The last 4 months have been the best 4 months of the RV experience for us. Just having that additional person to share it with, it's been awesome.
I think that's it. Being able to share it with somebody is definitely the key. All right, now here's really a good one because we get this asked a lot. Any tips for storage? Bryce and Nellie, coming to you guys first.
Any tips for storage?
Yes.
Pack less. But really, am I right
true.
though?
It's true.
People want to bring everything,
Right.
and you realize this is what I actually love about RV life is that you realize you don't need a lot. And I know there's tons of tips and tricks, so I'm gonna let you guys take that one away. But honestly, you don't need that much. Pack less.
Pack less. All right, Tia, what you got?
I think I realized that quick.
Yeah.
I think the longest trip we've been on has been 2.5 months. Yeah. Straight.
Oh, wow.
And I really, when I got back, it just amazed me. I didn't need that stuff. I didn't miss anything that I left behind. We took our essentials, and that's really all we needed. But as far as a tip, the cabinets in your RV, they're going to be deep. They might be shallow. I don't know. But have cubicles, the little cube boxes.
Yes, the storage
to
cubes.
keep everything, stored nicely, and it's not all knocked over by the time you get to your destination. Everything is still where you put it.
Right on.
That'd be my best tip.
Keith, you got anything on that one? Tips for storage?
Just make room for your grill. Don't
Thank
forget
you.
that.
Look, you read my mind.
But she's right. I mean, we've got a big Class A, and like a lot of people who get in, we kind of keep everything loaded in the RV. I have toothpaste, toothbrushes. I can just jump in, hit the road, and go. Right. And my wife's, you got to take some of that stuff. I took all the clothes out of my closet, and I actually have a picture, and the pile was this high. Of shorts, t-shirts, because you get t-shirts wherever you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like, you don't need all that stuff. You wear the same 3 or 4 t-shirts, you just go through a rotation. So in the beginning, you think you need a lot more than you actually do. And once you pare it down to your essentials and what you need, go from there. And a lot of people say, if you bring something in, you got to take something out. That's where you are now. If I bring something in, I got to almost take 2 things out of the RV now.
Yeah. Some of your things are going out, you don't realize
Let me just, thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
All right, now, but you got to save room for the Cuisinart, right?
And she's got her coffee maker.
You got to have that.
Even compartments in the fridge, though, too, because we did that for our cabinets, but it didn't in our fridge until more recently, and it's like, so much better that just you pack in more, it doesn't tip over, the fruit doesn't roll, so buy extra ones for the little shelves in the fridge.
And you don't have to get the expensive one. The dollar store has some great ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, Dan and Lindsay, any tips for storage?
Well, yes, everything they said. But we have come across some really handy little storage solutions. We just last week our shoes were out of control. Shoes are always the hardest thing to store. We found a little canvas thing that goes under the bed with little pockets.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We
That was
love
a really
it.
good find. We're happy about that.
Collapsible bowls. I mean, there are so many cool little things out there that help just maximize this space.
Right. Lots of little storage gadgets out there.
Yeah, one of my favorites, and she actually did this. She repurposed it. I don't know if she saw it off a blog, but you know those shoe organizers that are mesh? I don't know, that you hang on the back of a door?
Mm-hmm.
We actually put that in our shower, and that's where we keep all of our shampoos and stuff because it gets wet, right? But it dries out. And if you don't have something to put your shampoo and soap in, it just flies everywhere. So
Yep.
that's like one of my favorite ones. And then lastly, if you're outdoor storage, try and think about the things you use the most and make them accessible. I can't tell you how many times I've packed something that I really wanted and I packed it way deep down there and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, why didn't I pack this better? So, think about the things that you really use, like your grill, and make sure it's accessible.
Yep. Rachel, what you got?
I think for dogs, having like this whole thing of dog toys, they probably play with like one or two at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If you just give them one or two, and then when they wear those out or they get tired of those, bring out another one, take it away. It's like a new toy, that's good. And then reevaluating what you have every maybe few weeks. When you have a regular house, if you don't use something, you're used to just putting it in a closet, forgetting about it. You accumulate all this stuff. But with an RV, you can't do that. So
Right.
go through what you have every few weeks. If there's something that you're not using, donate it. Recycle. Try to use things that maybe you would even throw away for another usage. Pack things. I mean, you always need packing material when you're moving your RV. Use old shirts for that. Use things that you're not using.
That one caught you off guard.
Well, I did because, unlike Keith, I want a different set of clothes for every day of the month. You know what I'm saying? I wear it once and that's got to go and it goes to packing. But I mean, going on kind of what like Dan was talking about, you want to prioritize the stuff that you're going to use most. I like to sectionalize everything. So everything in our storage is going to, for instance, everything that's cleaning is going to be in this section.
Right.
Nothing goes anywhere else. I like to do crafts on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a craft section underneath the bay of the Fiver. And it's like, that's all crafts, This all is electric. This is all this,
Right.
And then once that plan goes out the window, then I'm back to what you were saying.
I was going to say, I was waiting. I was like, no, that's not
right.
at all.
No, and I'm always searching for batteries. Batteries are,
This is a great one that just came in too. I've been looking for an RV for months, but I can't decide on a floor plan. Any recommendation on a family of 5? And then right after that, any recommendation on a couple? On an active couple. So for a family of 5, let's just say a family. Let's just say a family with kids. Keith and Tia.
Yeah, we're a family 5.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. It depends on the age of, let's say if they have kids. I'm assuming family of 5, they have kids. We wanted bunks.
Yes.
She's always wanted bunks from the very beginning. We don't have bunks. Okay, so we have made do with pull-out couches and the jackknife sofa.
Yeah.
And recently, in the last couple of months, we ended up taking out our booth dinette and putting a third sofa in, so our boys have 3 separate sleeping areas.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're getting taller,
Yeah.
getting bigger, and the days of them when they're little, it's fine for them to sleep in the same bed. But
Yeah.
as they're getting older, they need their own space.
Yeah.
So as you look for an RV, you've got to try to plan for the future. Look at your needs today and try to get something that maybe will work in a few years. And if you've got kids, realize they grow.
Yeah.
I just want to add to that, take into account your kids' activities, what their hobbies are. We've got 2 of our kids that love Legos, and Legos get everywhere and they're horrible to step on. Everybody knows that.
So no carpet.
Right, exactly. But we have a bin that we know fits in one particular cabinet.
Okay.
And so just have the space for your child's activities and things that they like to do, their hobbies, and
Right
that'll
on.
make traveling with them a lot easier, make
Yeah.
the transition easier.
Bryce and Nellie, any suggestion for folks that might have small kids?
That's great advice. So yeah, small kids, they actually can fit anywhere, which is wonderful. But kind of what Lindsay and Dan were saying, like, take your kids in, let them feel it out, let them get
Yes.
excited about an RV. Like
Yes.
Avie ran in and was like, "This is my room." But what's interesting about our rig actually is that we do have a 5th wheel. We have the main master bedroom, and then in the back we actually just have the garage. And if people want to stick around and follow us, we're actually renovating the back to be the master bedroom and the master's now to be the girls' room, and we are going to put bunks in there. So
Right on.
you don't have to go that crazy, but you can make do. I mean, usually these RVs, I mean, it'll be like 20 feet long and somehow fit 16 people to sleep, you know?
Yes,
So
yes,
you can make it work, especially if it's like a weekend warrior, but if you want to go full time, like bring your kids in the RV, let them help you choose, and then they're part of the experience anyway, right? And they're excited.
And they get excited about it, exactly. And what Nellie's talking about, the garage in the back, they have a toy hauler, which, you know, if you need to bring kayaks, golf carts, you know, side-by-sides, Can-Am, stuff like that, toy haulers are great, but I've been saying it for years. They're so versatile because it allows you to have additional sleeping space.
There's beds in there.
Yeah, and they usually have 2 beds or sometimes maybe even more, depending on, you know, which one you get. Bryce, you want to add something?
I would disagree with all that. It's good that if they can find their own space.
Right.
That allows for the trip to be more enjoyable. You know, so however you do it is they go look, and it's fun. Like the way that Camping World's set up, you go and can walk in any of the units, test it out.
Yeah. They're so much fun to walk around.
They really are.
They really are. They're so fun to check out. All the new floor plans around today. And Dan and Lindsay, I know you guys, space is a premium for you guys. So what would you recommend for maybe that active couple or that active couple with the new baby?
Well, I think the thing to remember is you can switch RVs. Like as you change, your life is always changing. And so we're on our 3rd RV, and each one has been totally different for totally different reasons.
Right.
We just got more space with baby and 2 dogs, and we felt like we knew we were going to be slowing down a little. So the key is, like Dan said, and the first question about what we wish we would have known is really thinking about how you're going to use it. And so if this couple, they say they're active and they're really wanting the adventure and they're probably going to want to boondock and be off grid, you're not going to want this big luxury, gigantic Class A. You know, you're probably going to want something a little bit easier to maneuver and drive. And so for that stage in our lives, we used our Winnebago Navion because we felt like we could take that thing anywhere, but it was a little bigger than a van.
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think anything, you know, just from a practical standpoint, anything on a Sprinter chassis, whether it's a Class C or a Class B, would maybe be a great choice for an active couple because you are probably wanting to move frequently and quickly.
Right.
You know, and those units yield themselves really well to that type of lifestyle.
Yes, they do. Nate and Rachel, I love the Pinnacle 5th wheel you guys got. What would you recommend for owners of pets?
We absolutely love our Pinnacle. But the thing that I like to remember is the floor plan is important. You want to be comfortable and you want to feel like it's a home. But the most important thing is you have to remember that your RV is allowing you to travel. Your RV is allowing you to live life, to have that lifestyle. The floor plan is important, but it's not as important as what you do.
Yeah, and I want to add too. It's like what you guys were saying. If it's an active couple and they want to go out and they want to boondock all the time and stuff. Yeah, like you said, Class Bs and things like that. They're great.
They work great.
But I also think it's important to tell people that it doesn't mean that you still can't be active if you have something as giant as what we're towing behind us.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's awesome. You know, I've got like party ceilings up there, you know. I mean, I
like the disco balls.
Yes, I can fit you on my shoulders and you're still not there.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but I still like to boondock. I mean, we're full time, so we love that space.
Yeah.
But we still like to boondock. We can still find those spaces. It's more difficult. I'm not gonna lie. And like what you guys say, you know, what's important to you. But, you know, it doesn't mean that you're going to be limited to where I just can't boondock anymore.
Right.
We've been boondocking even though we have something, you know, as big as a skyscraper that we're rolling behind us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you do. All right, show of hands, who's had a motorhome? Okay, how hard are they to drive? I'm actually going to come right back to you.
They're not. I'm just telling you, they are so much fun to drive. I mean, it's like easiest thing to drive actually probably from a large size. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're getting into, you know, it's not like riding an e-bike or something like that, but it's easy to drive. You can see everything down the sides. The camera's on the back. You can just back up into any space. I mean, I got to tell you, it's just the easiest thing I've ever driven in my life.
You're making me feel bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, no.
Beautiful.
Nelly drove ours once so I could get a drone shot, and she's like, I don't want to do it again. But it was easy, right?
I mean,
after a week.
Kind of like a mental shift.
Once you get over, just realize your windshield is like the biggest HD TV you've ever had, and it's beautiful. Like the thing I love about driving a motorhome, you're in a recliner basically. Your view is amazing the whole time.
Yes.
And you can go for, like, I could drive for 8 hours, no problem, as long as I got snacks. You know, and
And you got that big dash right there with the molded and all the cup holders, so you got enough room for snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keith, how about the diesel pusher? Yeah.
I love driving.
Okay.
Yeah, that I'm in my comfort zone. When I'm in that seat, I'm in control. Keith's got the kids.
Right.
I don't have to worry about anything. And it's the one time I can say, hey, babe, go grab me a drink and a snack.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
One time.
Yeah.
Well, it's the one time you'll comply.
Was there a mental hurdle
Oh, yeah.
to get over before you drove it?
Definitely. I was completely fearful when I got in that captain's chair that first time. But let me tell you, I quickly got over it.
Okay.
I quickly got over it. It might have taken a couple of times, but our coach is so easy to drive and it's so comfortable and I don't feel a thing on the road and it's just...
Right on. Dan and Lindsay?
Well, I used to be the person asking that question because I was so terrified of motorhomes, and he always wanted a Class A. And so here we were in a Class A. He has done all the driving, and just last week we were in line to check into a campground, and he was like, I got to finish up something at work. Can you just drive us in line? And I was shaking. Like, you're telling me that we're on the road now and you're going to tell me to try this now. And so I was so proud of myself.
Induction by
Got
fire,
back
right?
there. And then we got to check in and he's like, all right, I'll take over. And I was like, no, this is so fun. I'm doing this. I pulled into the campground. I backed us into our spot. And now I can't wait to drive it again. You're right. It's fun.
Yes.
I really liked it.
Yeah, and so the first thing we're sitting there, she pushes the gas for the first time, and she goes, oh boy, I like this. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fun, right?
It's a lot of power under that thing. Yes, absolutely. I love this question that just came in. I just brought in RV yesterday. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Woo! Congratulations. Woo! That's awesome. I'm taking my first trip this summer with my husband. Any advice on where we should go? Oh, now it doesn't matter. So this actually leads into one that I love asking you guys. Favorite place to go RVing? Bryce and Nelly.
I mean, to answer this, you can control the weather when you travel in an RV, in a way.
True.
If you want different weather, you just, travel differently.
Yeah, you
so,
just go to a different spot.
Yeah, so like this time of year, May through July, I love the Northwest. Then you follow the seasons in the fall, the Northeast. Mm-hmm. Then beginning of winter, like Southeast.
Miami.
Yeah, then you come back and then you end up in California when it's springtime again. Honestly, you can't go wrong. And just the memories you're going to make and the experiences.
Right on.
Even if it's an hour away from home.
Yeah. Keith and Tia, favorite place to go?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think in the summer, I love going to the mountains, being by the water, being by a stream, being up high. I absolutely love that. My wife loves urban camping, loves by the cities or beach camping and those kind of things. So like you were saying, I think it depends on the season and pick the best weather you possibly can and then just enjoy wherever you go.
Right. San Diego and San Diego.
Right.
Right, and then, like for the best weather.
Exactly.
Tia, do you want to add anything?
Not really.
Okay.
I love the beach. We lived in South Florida for a very long time. The beach, that's my comfort zone.
I love it.
So anywhere on the coast, I'm great.
You're happy?
Yeah.
Dan and Lindsay, favorite spot?
Oh, it's such a hard question. I think typically we say Glacier National Park, Montana in the summer. It's incredible. Fly fishing, lakes. I mean, it's beautiful. So
What I was going to say is, what do you like to do? Go where you can do what you like to do. We love to fly fish, so we find the best, rivers with the best fishing wherever we go.
Right.
Stand-up paddleboarding, we find lakes. So do what you like to do and go to the nearest national park because you cannot go wrong with the national park.
Yes.
You just can't. There's a reason everybody is obsessed with
That's a great call on that one, yeah.
Just
Rachel and Nate, favorite spot?
We really like food, in case you haven't noticed. I think it's really fun what do I like to eat? So we love avocados. We found the capital of avocados growing in Fallbrook, California. We went there and we had the
wow.
best avocados we've ever had. Do you like strawberries? Do you like tomatoes? Like, go where that food is from. In the States, it's just so amazing to see where it comes from.
Talk about setting up a perfect experience. Yeah,
It's all
absolutely.
about the experience. So I like to do themes. So, if you want to go see the national parks, have an itinerary for that. The beaches, have an itinerary for that. Just make it a whole experience when it comes to the food, to the drink, to learning about everything. And our dogs really enjoy that too. Yeah.
Nate?
Well, I'm going to tell you, you might find this hard to believe, but I enjoy a glass of wine from time to time.
No.
Yeah, well, I know. And I'm going to tell you, it is so much fun to go to wine regions. And there's so many wine regions in the United States. We live for a short time in Sonoma County, Napa County.
Oh.
That's awesome. And that's what
Yeah.
everybody thinks about. But every state has
Yes.
a wine region.
Yes.
And you camp. Sometimes you can even camp. Get this, bro. You can even camp at a winery, at a vineyard. Imagine rolling through a vineyard, at your evening walk, your morning walk, and enjoying wine. And so for me, those are the type of places I like to go.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to piggyback on that real quick because we actually just stumbled upon a wine region in Colorado that we'd never heard of. We've lived there our whole life.
Preach, tell me.
I know it's called Paonia, Colorado. It's beautiful, it's amazing. Oh, I shouldn't.
Yeah, I
say
was
the
going to
word.
say, yes. Now it's going to be flooded.
But no, and we actually camped in an orchard, right? And it was like trees and stuff. But that was the point I wanted to make is it's so easy to think about what is the best place, where should we go? But I'm going to tell you, a lot of times our most enjoyable RV experiences come from places we didn't plan. It's like, oh, that place looks pretty cool. It's where we're kind of going. Like, let's go check it out and see what happens. And then we fall in love. So that was our experience in Paonia. We weren't planning to go there.
Right.
We're actually going to Glenwood Springs, which is much more famous in Colorado.
Right.
And this is kind of close by. And it was just amazing. So don't put too much pressure on where you go. I think that's kind of the lesson I'm trying to say.
I love that. Nellie, you look like you wanted to add a place that might have been a favorite spot.
Oh, that's hard. But Bryce was just saying everything you were just saying. And so he's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually those camp spots you pull in at midnight and you wake up and you're like, this is out our window?
Right.
What? This is amazing. But we had a really, you know what? One of those times was actually South Carolina. We went to a state park. It was the cheapest campsite we could find. So we were like, oh man, this is going to be a doozy.
We ended up extending. It was awesome.
That's beautiful.
Magical.
And that actually, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the great questions just came up. Campgrounds are crowded. How far out do you need to book your reservation? Keith, go ahead.
I'm a planner, she said. So I typically will plan anywhere from 3 to 6 months, sometimes a year in advance, depending on where you're going, because you
Right.
can always cancel them.
Right.
Maybe it's that football background where everything was scheduled. I
Right.
like to know where we're going. And when you have a 43-foot diesel pusher,
You can't go
you
everywhere.
got to make sure you have a spot to park that baby.
Yes.
So it makes my life a little more easy, know where we're going, and we can alternate from there. What we've also learned to do within that scheduling is build in some extra days. So if we want to make excursions along the way, we can still do that because she doesn't like to be pigeonholed in, well, we got to go to the next reservation, but
Right.
really enjoying the moment where we're in. So we try to build that flexibility as well.
Right on. Bryce and Nellie?
Yeah, sorry, everybody. We're not good. You roll with the flow. But you know what? I got to say this. Times are changing ever since COVID happened.
Yeah.
Well, RVs are being bought. Reservations are actually booking up faster. So us not planners, we're kind of like, oh, shoot, we got to actually plan and get some
Right.
reservations. So, you if you know you want to go somewhere, I would just call in and see what it's like because we're finding, not planners, that things are booking out. So
Super fast.
times are changing.
Yeah, they are changing. Dan and Lindsay, what about you guys? How far out do you book?
Same. We didn't used to book that far in advance. Now we feel like we just kind of have to. So we're kind of on the 6-month plan, like you guys. we have all of our fall itinerary booked already, but you can sometimes get lucky with cancellations. Don't always rely on the website. Sometimes it helps to call, give them your number if there's a cancellation. Just try everything you can. And weekdays, usually you can squeeze in. So we work from the road. We can be a little more flexible there. Weekends are always crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to add what you said, and maybe I shouldn't give away all of our tips, but we typically will call because a lot of times you can't trust the website or the website isn't smart enough to know that, oh, I'm looking for 4 days. Well, they might have 4 sites open on different days, right? So what I'll do is I'll call and I'll tell them, I'm willing to move. That sometimes will help. So yes, I'd like
That's
to
a
be
good
there as many
point.
days as I
Yeah,
can,
that's a good
but I
point.
don't mind moving. And sometimes that will free you up because, you can't always plan 6 months in advance. So
Right. It's
And they want good tenants too. So you have that conversation. They're like, oh, these people are easy to work with.
yeah.
Great.
It's great. Nate and Rachel,
Check it. If you cannot get a reservation, I mentioned reservations at the beginning.
right?
It's a problem. It's a problem. But if you want to go to a specific area, you want to go to a national park, you want to go to a state park, you want to be in that area, you might have to look into boondocking. And if you don't know what that is, you find out about it. We got a segment,
Yeah.
about
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll have an
boondocking.
expert panel about it. Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
and it's so important because what you can do is you can stay close. You're not going to have hookups, but if you're prepared, now you're in that area. Now you can still go into the state park. Now you can still go into the national park. And a lot of these places, national parks especially, will even tell you where boondocking sites or what they refer to as dispersed camping sites are. And that's what we're finding that we're having to do. Even though our unit's big, we do our research and that's how we're still able to get around the reservation problem.
So yeah, you got to book way out. I love this one because it hit home. It hits home. Keith, I'm coming to you first. I actually want to cook food, not just eat fast food every night. But the RV kitchen seems so small compared to my kitchen at home. Is it possible to cook a full meal for a family?
Absolutely. We've cooked Thanksgiving dinner, turkeys, everything in the RV, and you can bring your gadgets, your Instapots, your grills, whatever, your air fryers, whatever.
We're following you guys from now on.
Right?
have.
Right?
Planners and cookers.
Have you had his
Absolutely.
wings? My goodness, yeah.
And for us, we like to control our diet a little bit. We like to save some money. Eating out is expensive. Now, my wife's also a foodie. She loves to experience that local food. So it's a balance of eating enough meals inside the RV and then exploring and experiencing the local cuisine. But you can fix anything, basically, you fix at home in your RV.
Right, and you talking about it for yourself and the three boys.
Yeah.
Bryce and Nelly, what do you guys think about the cooking?
I was going to say this. I actually enjoyed cooking more in the RV, and we had a really good, we have a meal plan system. This is what we're having these days. So we buy groceries to fit and everything that needs to fit because people will just buy and then you can't fit your food because RV is limited. So meal plan, and then it's so easy. It's so easy. And we actually ate better. We eat better when we're in the RV.
That's beautiful. All right. Actually, Nate and Rachel.
We not only cook for ourselves in the RV, but we cook for our dogs every night too. And we have for over 10 years now. We've cooked for them, and it's just as easy in the RV as it was in a regular house. And I just find having the supplies ready and there for you makes it a lot easier because if you travel full time like us, you don't know where the nearest grocery store is.
Right.
And then on top of that, we're vegan, so we can't always find. When you see food that you want, don't have a lot of it, but just have enough for emergencies. But it's totally possible to cook for your entire family, including your dogs.
Yes,
in the RV.
thank you. Yes, Dan and Lindsay.
Well, as you'll see from the cooking competition, this is not.
Is that not really your area of expertise?
for us, I mean, yeah, we meal plan too. We cook everything. I will say, for us, we've simplified our meals. We
Right.
try to use as limited ingredients as possible. Keep things very simple. Fresh vegetables, a meat, a protein. So we're not making elaborate meals where we're baking, pastries and things of that nature in the RV. But we eat really good, and
You can do whatever you want.
Do
in
whatever
there.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We have had so many great questions come in. Thank you all so much for sending us all these questions. But I want to ask one more because it kind of puts everything all together. One good tip for somebody looking to RV for the first time. Bryce and Nelly.
Do it. Think about the future memories you're going to have, and that will help you figure everything else out. I think
Yeah. Keith and Tia.
That's exactly what I tell my friends. Just do it. Just get out there and get on the road and experience it and have fun and keep a sense of humor.
Yes. Thank you.
And don't forget, the RV community, it is welcoming, it is open, and it's out there to help you along every step of the way.
I love it. All right. Dan and Lindsay,
Stole
one good
all
tip.
the good answers.
Yeah.
Everything that.
I can't make it easy for you.
Hey, I know. But yeah, it is hard to just go out and do it. And it's easy for us to say because we've been on the other side. So, like I said before, if you need to rent one, get a taste of it, ease into it, kind of dip your feet in and see how it feels. Just go at your own pace.
Nate and Rachel.
Imagine yourself not doing it. Change your life.
There you go.
know? Change your life.
Wow. That was very well said. That was very well said. So, just boom, and then stomp off the stage. So this is just a sample. Yeah, dance the dirty bird. This is just a sample of what you're gonna get during the ultimate land, water, and RV show from our expert panels, the Jergies, Soulful RV Family, Follow Your Detour, and Two Traveling Dogs. Thank you all so much for sharing the knowledge. I hope you had a chance to enjoy and also pick up some good tips for how you're gonna enjoy your next camping and RVing experience. And hey, we got so much more coming up when the Land, Water, and RV show continues.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Ron.
And we're the Mobergs. We have been RVers for the past 30 years and we love it.
I think we started RVing when we had a really bad camping trip. And then we started small. First time RVers make trips locally. Start off with easy camping adventures and learn before you go big.
We have 4 kids, and so we needed something that had a lot of beds. After they left the house, then we needed someplace for the grands.
See, and that's Harvey and Cecilia.
Another tip is to make 2 lists. A list of things that you brought out of your house, so you put them back, and then make a list of things that you wish you would have brought.
Every RVer needs an extra hose, extra sewer line, and tools because you never know if you need an extra length to reach the sewer or to reach the hose. It's come up many times.
One thing that we find really important to have is an electric frying pan because those smells stay in your RV for a very long time.
How's the bacon coming?
That smells really good. So what should we do today?
Maybe go on a motorcycle ride?
Oh, that'd be fun. You're so fun.
I know. Every RVer should buy a camping mat because it keeps your RV clean.
Check your mattress, test it out, and if you're not happy with it, exchange it because you want to sleep well.
Shop at local seafood markets.
Because you never know, we might not catch anything.
Hey, honey, look what I caught.
Good for you.
A triggerfish.
Oh, look at that. That looks fabulous. Another tip would be to have contact cards because you never know who you're going to meet and you might want to continue to have a relationship with those folks.
Cheers.
Well, this is quite an adventure.
It's been quite the trip. When you socialize with people, you always end up talking about where they've been and where it's good places to go, and sometimes we end up going with their suggestions.
Leaving a campsite is bittersweet, but there's always another adventure down the road.
More people to meet, more things to do.
That's right. We've really enjoyed it here. This is a beautiful area.
The Land, Water, and RV Show is the hottest event of the summer. Join us in stores or online the entire month of June to unlock the lowest prices of the year on camping gear, fishing essentials, and active sports gear. Summer trips are better with the right gear, and you can get up to 35% off the gear needed for your next adventure during the Land, Water, and RV Show. Stock up for your next trip and get the best prices of the summer. Click, call, or visit your local Gander RV and Outdoors today.